The real estate landscape in Bengaluru is changing rapidly, and the city is at the forefront of innovation and trend-setting in the industry. Welcome to the SBI Home Loans presents Times Property Mega Expo 2024. With over 40+ developers participating in the Mega Property Expo, visitors can explore a wide range of properties to suit their needs and preferences. From luxury apartments to affordable housing options, there is something for everyone. The Expo also featured industry experts who shared their insights on market trends and the best deals available. The event kicked off with a keynote speech by Juhi Smita Sinha, CGM Bengaluru Circle, SBI. Let's have a look.
Indian real estate market has maintained a robust momentum in the last few years, propelled by the prevailing optimism among customers and developers. The rapid infrastructure growth, dynamic consumer profile, and stable economic growth rate are supporting the real estate market outlook in India and making real estate investment opportunities more appealing to domestic as well as international investors. Bengaluru real estate market is one of the top property markets in the country and is expected to grow at a remarkable pace in the next 6 to 12 months. In 2024, this market has shown remarkable resilience and growth driven by a combination of strong demand, economic activity, and infrastructure development. As of Q2 2024, the city recorded a 30% surge in home sales value with over 28,000 transactions. This boom is fueled by the IT sector expansion, rising demand in premium housing loan, and continued infrastructure improvements such as new metro lines and IT parks. Around 75% of the new residential units launched in the first half of 2024 fall in the high end of luxury segment, reflecting the growth and the growing purchasing power of the professionals in Bengaluru. Today, we are happy to be a part of this mega event where we have opportunity to see home loan offerings of more than 250+ projects from 30 top builders under a single roof. For home loan bookings made in this expo, SBI is offering special interest rates and attractive discounts in various changes. So we request all our customers and all our stakeholders to take maximum advantage of this expo, and we would like to garner maximum business for us as well as for our builder friends. I thank all of you for being here and request to make this SBI Times Mega Property Expo a grand success. Thank you so much.
Up next, we have a special address by Surinder Chawla, President Response, The Times of India. Let's have a look.
To see a property exhibition of this scale with all the Category A developers coming together under one roof, I think it's a fantastic opportunity, not only for the participants, of course, but clearly for the residents of the city as well. The real estate industry, we all know the kind of contributions the industry has, not only for the building of the nation, but towards providing jobs, towards providing sustainability goals to be met for the country, and so on and so forth. It's critical to make sure that this industry does well. Doing that has been a very, very important part of making sure that Times of India partners all the creditable builders and the banks in establishing a property where we can showcase the good work being done by all our partners. We are very happy to be part of this exhibition. We are very, very hopeful that this exhibition would churn out big numbers for the builders as well as the bank. And I think it's a great opportunity for the residents of the city to make full use of this opportunity that's being provided to really get a house of their dreams at this time. This is a great time to actually be buying a house as well. Fantastic interest rates, great process, great turnaround times. And we have the best builders here under the roof as well, which are giving the best properties on offer. So I don't think a better combination is possible. Thank you so much, and I hope we have a great success to this exhibition. We have great sales and hope 1 trillion happens faster than your financial year target. Congratulations and all the best.
Next up, we have a panel discussion featuring real estate industry leaders. They will discuss the challenges of building brand loyalty and explore the latest trends and developments in the domestic residential real estate landscape. Let's have a look.
Now, when it comes to domestic residential real estate, consumer preferences are quickly evolving, as a result of which there are many paradigm shifts in place. But today, since I'm joined by new age real estate royalty, or industry stalwarts, if I can call these three gentlemen that, I wanted to take the opportunity to understand the challenges that come with building brand loyalty in this business and how they've maintained relevance in the heart and the mind of the homeowner. And to do just that, I'm joined by three extremely esteemed gentlemen. And to kick off the conversation, Sunil, I'd love to start with you. So the economy has demonstrated remarkable resilience, in spite of it being an unprecedented time in human history, in spite of all the geopolitical volatility that surrounds us. And one of the biggest beneficiaries, perhaps, is projected to be the real estate sector. So I'd love your take of the on-ground reality and whether we're on track to hit that target, sir.
Sales used to be 150,000 units, 2020. This year will be 5 lakh units across the country. That's huge. Prices, 20 to 25% roughly is the growth over the last 3 years.
Which is
every year.
Staggering.
So prices have gone up 70, 80%. That's sort of kind of a wealth creation that's happened for people. The last meaningful IPO that had happened in residential real estate was 2010 Prestige. After that, for 10, 11 years, there were no IPOs. But after 2020, when macro tech came up, there are roughly 8 or 9 IPOs. More than 15,000 crores has been raised. That shows the confidence market and investors have in this space. Tier 2 cities, right? There are at least 10 to 12 Tier 2 cities which have done sales in the last 2-3 years, which is equivalent to Chennai. So this market has created another 10 Chennai-sized markets. So if you keep looking at these numbers, even market caps for listed companies, the index used to be 300. Now the index is 1,100. So just instead of buying a house, had someone put money in the stocks, it would have been almost 4 times today.
Right.
So yes, residential real estate has been a beneficiary. It's probably the best time in the market. In fact, our market is 25-year-old. The entire game started 2000. Before that, things were pretty fragmented, small. So in the last 25 years, the last 2-3 years have been the best. The cities are growing bigger. More people are moving into metros. And more people are moving from towns to cities. So therefore, Tier 2 cities are also sort of bulging. Affordability has gone up. The middle class has swelled. Their aspirations have gone up. They need more lifestyle amenities now. In fact, the latest is give me resort-like amenities in apartments.
Right.
I think all put together over the last 4-5 years, so many things have gone right that we see these kind of numbers that have come up. So are we on track? Perfect. Are we looking for a long-term story, at least a decadal story?
So what you'll notice is that millennials, like me, for example, are quickly becoming middle-aged. And Gen Z is starting to enjoy a newfound financial independence and increased decision-making influence, right? So how is that shaping buyer behavior, buyer preferences, buyer outcomes?
So honestly, at Brigade, we've kind of mapped the customer journey, and we are seeing a lot of shift in how the customer actually reaches out. It is not the earlier method where he or she reaches out coming into the property first, but they first come in on the website or social media. A lot of times the links start from social media like Insta, and then they land up on our page. So it's very important as a developer to be tech-driven in that sense. This entire sales journey, right from how he or she looks at the apartment, whether it's the walkthroughs, the quality of walkthroughs, It's about the way the customer is being addressed to in terms of the calling team, and also in terms of amenities. Now people are looking at more and more amenities to be, and I think some of them, my fellow panelists also mentioned, they want a resort kind of amenity in a city-centric property. So how do you achieve that? So a lot of our projects, we are trying to build in, decks where we can actually bring in these amenities on a vertical development mode, and also getting some concierge into it, because now more and more people are they're willing to spend that extra buck to get the convenience. So it's important that we get that soft services layer. So it's almost become like I want to say it's hospitality and brick and mortar together. So it's that service layer is very important. It's just not enough if you give the best of the specifications. It also means what kind of facility management you would give. More and more people are ordering online, so maybe they're not at home. They would want it to be collected. There's a drop box, stuff like that. A crash, a place where they can host small parties. Things of that nature, with that soft services layer. So that's being that's one of the major ones that I would see in terms of the new millennials coming and asking such.
See, the average age of the customer, like you rightly mentioned, has gone down.
Right.
So from where it was in the late 40s, now my average age of the customer is in late 30s and early 40s. And what it does is that the whole proposition that I'm making to the customer changes. So we are talking about young families here with kids. So they need those kind of amenities to take care, to give that kind of leisure and sports facilities and hobby rooms and other things for the family.
And these are not just nice to haves, these are non-negotiables.
Non-negotiable now. We introduced a concept called home office in our layouts. We see people working from home. We see people studying from home, doing the classes from home. So it was an essential input to us in terms of how we are envisioning even that home space. So those are the changes which this young generation is bringing to the table. And what we are seeing is that with the rising disposable incomes, and there is a increase in demand across durables, automobiles, everywhere in the last 4-5 years. And the same is happening with housing as well. People are willing to spend more, therefore they are more demanding. They want more from every developer, and it is our job to give them that those bit of amenities, those bit of luxury, those bit of facilities.
While technology is increasingly permeating that sales and marketing toolkit, home buying is, of course, a very human experience at the end of the day, and it's intended to be high touch. Speaking of being human, I think home buyers are increasingly looking to invest in properties that align with their values, Sunil. They care for ethically sourced everything, and that now extends to include homes. So my question to you is, how does that factor into all aspects of how you design a property and plan a project? Because now you're looking at managing and balancing competing interests.
While they are spoiled for choice, they still need something which is more ethical, that resonates with their value system, especially given that Gen Z and the millennials are there, and shortly another 10 years Gen Alphas are jumping into our customer wagon. It's the entire life cycle, I guess we'll have to look at. Sustainability is, of course, one among them, and the entire design process and construction process of it. So let's see the key essential utilities to start with: water, power, waste management, wellness. So now in water, as developers, we are doing a lot beyond what regulations are prescribing. We are putting extra plumbing lines in our buildings so that at least 15% of the water that was getting rejected because of water filtration in kitchens can get reduced. It's a small effort, but over a period of time, it'll put less pressure on the groundwater system. Likewise in power as well. regulations, of course, prescribe solar. Common area lighting should be solar. So what is prescribed? That's like a carrot and stick policy. I'll give you some incentive. If you don't follow, I'll also penalize you. Developers do it. But can we, and are they doing, some of them have started, have renewable power away from the city, connect to the grid, but at least on a long-term basis tell the consumers that you are consuming renewable power.
Right.
Right? So those wheeling charges, etc. There are certain complexities, but some laws have also come up. So that will sort of become a reality. So in bits and pieces, we are doing our own. Long way to go. In fact, we have prompted initially to do, but now I think a lot of things are happening on our own. But our customers giving us premium for that, answer is mixed. Some do, some don't.
Ultimately, we want sustainability at the core and also bring in best practices and share that. Right. As CREDAI, Bangalore, we have, as CREDAI as a body, we have committed we'll be net zero by 2050. And our internal target for Brigade, we have set 2045, we will be net zero. So that's a huge uphill task. We are putting together the teams and the processes in place. And also, we will be launching soon a residential project, which will be the first ever net zero project that a developer has attempted to.
Phenomenal to hear that.
So,
yeah, that calls for a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. I want to do a bit more of a deep dive on changing consumer psychology, all right, when it comes to home ownership. And broadly, there are perhaps two camps. One might be, I'm late to the party, I've studied the market, I've missed the boat, all right? And another, for example, might be, ki jab jago tab savera, all right? And you probably interface with prospective homeowners from both camps. So I'd love your take on the guidance that you offer them in each of these two situations.
See, I think in India, home is not only a need and a requirement with respect to shelter and security, but it is also a very cultural thing. We associate home with the family. We associate home with memories. We associate home with financial security, and so on and so forth. So whoever is not a home buyer, who's not a home owner, who's living on rent, my advice is to buy a home. Jab jago tab savera, like you said. So that is definitely essential. It's very difficult for a person living in a layout to call for a water tanker, and get water, delivered at his home on a regular basis.
Right.
Right. So there are so many other amenities now. With the kids growing up, you need to have a clubhouse. You need to have, places where the kids can go learn certain things, play safely, securely in the bounds of the campus. So those are the things which are driving people towards home ownership. Home ownership is a trend that will not die down. And people who do not have a home today should consider buying one.
Part of the overarching misconception is that appreciation in the residential real estate space is limited to the major metros. And you simply do not walk away with as creamy a layer of the pie if you're in tier 2 and tier 3 localities. So I'd love your take on the extent to which tier 2 and tier 3 markets are now infiltrating your individual brand portfolios.
Last year, 200,000 homes were sold in 30 tier 2 cities. Okay. Of that, top 10 tier 2 cities, contributed 70%. Like roughly 140,000 homes were sold in top 10 tier 2 cities, which is 14,000 per city. I mean, that's big.
Huge.
In fact, in 2015, Bangalore used to sell 35,000 units, or Chennai was at 15,000 unit. Hyderabad was 10,000 unit. Those sized consumptions are happening in these places. Is it a blip? Is it a flash? Is it just we want to do it? I don't think so. And let's see the reasons, both top level and specific reasons. 3 trillion to 7 trillion is the journey which the government has set for GDP growth. GDP growth will happen across the country. Of course, it'll form a pyramid. Top of the pyramid will be the top 7 metros. But then you have the next 20 tier 2 cities that will be beneficiary. So wealth creation will happen, capacity building will happen. People will get richer there. There earlier the fancy was, hey, let's go Mumbai, let's go Bangalore, let's go Delhi, right? But consumerism, the wealth, things are following into tier cities. You get Starbucks in tier 2, tier 3 cities now. The kind of chains, the kind of fashion brands that have opened up. And go to Punjab, of course, you'll find some of the car showrooms which are, they're only 1 year and you'll find 5 there, right? Because things follow wealth and that is happening. So some of their lifestyle aspirations can be met there itself. They don't need the compulsive thing of my natural progression is to go to the next big city.
Ease of doing business has long been cited as an area of much needed improvement. All right, and I would imagine it gets all the more difficult in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Even today, if you want to green light a project, sometimes you require upwards of dozens of approvals from state and union government authorities, right? So single window clearance is still not a reality. How does that influence your strategy with respect to permeating tier 2 and tier 3 markets at Brigade?
Honestly, the single window doesn't exist.
It doesn't. It's a nice myth, though.
It's a nice acronym to say ease of doing business. The EODB is quite extensively used in the government. Yeah. But I think it needs to see its light of day, honestly. While the government is trying to do its best, maybe it has its own challenges, internal, external. So I'll leave it at that. But honestly, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But we are hopeful, and developers are always optimistic, always hopeful. So we always try and look at the, say, the glass is half full than half empty. So we hope things will change, and maybe we will see single window clearance, at least in my lifetime.
And Pravir, of course, residential real estate spans a broad spectrum, right? And I'd love your take on how bullish you are on 2 sub-segments of the market. The first being senior living, or retirement communities, if you will. And the second is super luxury.
I'll start with the second,
Sure.
super luxury, because that's the space we are also in. Super luxury in the last 3-4 years has boomed. Yeah? And there was some point of time we had 7 luxury projects in CBD and in Central Business District of Bangalore. And we were finding hard to find takers for a 10 crore, 15 crore, 20 crore, 25 crore apartments. Today in Whitefield, we have launched a product which is average ticket size of 4 crore, ranging from 3 to 6 crores. And we're launching 1,368 apartments in that product.
Phenomenal.
And we already have found 600 to 700 buyers within a period of a month. So that luxury and super luxury is here to stay. What will probably we have to keep in mind is to give the right proposition and keep the ticket sizes in line with the aspirations of the people at large. As long as we keep doing that, I think luxury as well as mid-segment should do very well. When it comes to senior living, I think the trend culturally is picking up. So that is a good news. In Bangalore, we have some limited developments which have come across in super luxury. Prestige has not done any, but we definitely would like to do something in this space as well. But in North, in Delhi NCR, I see some people have made their brands on senior luxury, senior living space and are doing phenomenally well.
Today, the 3 of you are, as I mentioned earlier, extremely experienced and seasoned real estate executives, right? But if I were to ask you to go back in time to when you first started your career, 20-odd, 30-odd years ago, what do you know now that you wish you knew then?
The collective knowledge, maturity, wisdom, which we have gained over the last 20 years or 25 years, that can't just come on a single day. I mean, that's how I would put it. So it's the experience. I wish I had this experience when I started off as a career.
Fair enough. Over to you, sir.
The customer knows a lot more than the developers know, honestly. So put the customer in the middle and work around your business plan, whether it's design, the cost, parameters, what is the budget. Put the customer in the heart of the entire business plan, and things will fall into shape.
So I think one thing that we've realized over the last 30, 40 years is things change, and things change very fast. So like Amma mentioned, we need to have our ear to the ground. The customer comes first, and we should be listening to what is happening in the market, both with our customers, with the macroeconomic factors, and overall changes in the scenarios. that helps the developer build better products. And for the developer, I think one more thing that we need to keep in mind, and which is at the core of Prestige philosophy, is that we are not making a product to sell. We are making a home where a person will live in, a family will live in, and spend 24 hours on a day-to-day basis for the next 20 years or more forever. So that's something that has been a learning which has really helped us in terms of making the right products. So yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I think that makes for a wonderful note upon which to close. I have to thank all of our panelists for sharing such a rich range of insights from their personal and professional journeys alike.